powered by the political teams of the Washington Post and Newsweek magazine. This is The Political Take, a weekly web video election report online and in real time. Here now, Chris Cillizza and John Meacham.
I'm Chris Cillizza of WashingtonPost.com, and welcome to The Political Take, where we break down the stories of the week past and, more importantly, the week to come. My compadre in this, as always, Newsweek's managing editor, Dan Klaidman. Dan, let's get right into it. Big week, unexpected big story. Governor Rod Blagojevich arrested yesterday at his home on charges that he was, among many other things, selling the Senate seat to the highest bidder. I know that you're familiar with Patrick Fitzgerald, the man who talked about the charges yesterday brought against Blagojevich. Just walk us through the drama of yesterday with a sitting governor arrested at his home before daybreak.
Oh, extraordinary drama. I think it began for Blagojevich at 6 in the morning. He gets a phone call from the FBI saying, there are a couple of agents outside the door, and we're going to arrest you. We want to do this quietly so we don't have to wake up your kids. And Blagojevich is whisked right down to the courthouse in his sweatsuit and sneakers. And even for Chicago, which is, I think the Wall Street Journal pointed out this morning, in the modern era, 20% of their chief executives have been indicted. This was an astonishing story for the brazenness of the alleged corruption. And obviously, it has some national implications because the seat that he was allegedly trying to sell was the Senate seat he was allegedly trying to sell was Barack Obama's seat.
Well, and Dan, let's talk about that. I mean, clearly the political future for Rod Blagojevich is not good. He has said he's not resigning his office, but there's moves to impeach him. There's moves within the state legislature to take the appointment power from him and make it a special election, which we'll talk about. But let's talk first about Obama, because even though there is no report, Barack Obama and Patrick Fitzgerald made this clear yesterday, Barack Obama is in no way implicated here. The reality is this is Chicago politics. This is where Barack Obama cut his teeth. What impact does it have on a president-elect, 40 some odd days away from becoming the 44th president of the United States?
Well, yeah, at the very least, it is an awkward distraction. This is a time when the president-elect and his team are trying to remain completely focused on the transition, on all of these enormous challenges they're facing, so that they can, as he always says, hit the ground running on January 20th. And the country, at least for now, is going to be obsessed with this dramatic story. Pat Fitzgerald bent over backwards yesterday to say that there was no involvement here on Barack Obama's part. And Fitzgerald, I followed his career for a long time. He's the sort of Elliot Ness of this era. He's ramrod straight. He's a dog with a bone. If he had a whiff of wrongdoing, I don't think he would have been as forceful as he was yesterday about there being no apparent involvement on Obama's part. That said, as you suggest, because it is Chicago and Chicago politics, my guess is there'll probably be enough so that there can be more stories, relationships, what kind of contacts were there between the Obama camp and the Blagojevich camp, who are these 5 potential senators who are being considered for the seat. There's a mystery senator who, at least according to the indictment, there's some suggestion that emissaries on that person's part actually did have contacts with Blagojevich's camp and talked about money. Parlor game in Washington and Chicago will be, who was that mysterious potential 5th senator? That's going to keep the story alive, and that's not great news for Barack Obama.
And in the midst of all of this, Dan, we still have a senator to pick. That's the absolutely fascinating thing here, is that Blagojevich still has sole power to pick Barack Obama's replacement. Now, as I said earlier, I do think it very likely that that is taken from him in the near future. Mike Madigan, the Speaker of the State House, Emil Jones, the State Senate President, are expected to bring their respective bodies back into session next week, pass a law that would create a special election. Now, for a political junkie like me, that is just absolute gold, a special election. The thinking right now is a primary on February 24th, and then a general election on April 7th. I think it's sort of a no-holds-barred affair. You've got everyone from Jan Schakowsky to Jesse Jackson Jr. to Danny Davis to Mark Kirk, a moderate Republican who has the chance of winning here. So an absolutely fascinating sort of turn of events from just a purely political perspective.
And it doesn't leave a lot of time for that kind of a quick election. On the other hand, there's something about it that is inherently more democratic than a governor, and particularly an alleged corrupt governor, simply making the appointment.
Well, one other point, then we'll move on too, is at this point I'm not sure it's an appointment worth having. Being Rod Blagojevich's hand-picked candidate in the Senate is not exactly a recipe for electoral success. Well, as you said, Dan, I think one of the big stories here, whether in terms of its impact on Barack Obama with the Blagojevich story, is it's really taken us away from focusing on the transition of power. Barack Obama sort of naming his cabinet, had been doing so in a very methodical way. He met with former Vice President Al Gore this week, which would normally have been a huge story, totally overshadowed by Blagojevich. Barack Obama has been ahead of the historical pace in terms of choosing his cabinet. This has been a slow week so far. Do we expect it to continue? And are we going to see a full cabinet out there before everyone heads home for Christmas or not?
I don't know if you'll get, it's hard to predict whether you'll get a full cabinet. There's still some important positions that haven't been announced yet. And you never know with the vetting process whether they'll be able to announce them. I think Energy Secretary, Labor has not been announced yet. I think that's right. There are others as well. Two things I'll say. One, Barack Obama is helped here by the fact that he did move as swiftly as he did. Because if he had been at this moment trying to figure out who his Treasury Secretary is, who his Secretary of State is, this would be an enormous problem for him just in terms of the distraction. The other thing is this story could affect the timing of some of these announcements because he may not want to make announcements that would be overshadowed by this story, so perhaps that'll slow things down a little bit. The other way to look at it is that this fades a little bit next week, and if he can get another couple of high-profile appointments out there, it's an opportunity for him to sort of change the channel.
And, I think that's going to be it for Dan and I this week. But Dan makes, I think, a really important point, and we'll be back next week talking about it, which is how this story plays out is important. Who are these Senate candidates 1 through 6? How much connection does Barack Obama have? It appears to be very little, but I think that will certainly be litigated out in the media over the next few days. Anyway, that's a political take for this week. I'm Chris Cillizza, WashingtonPost.com.
And I'm Dan Klaidman for Newsweek.
And thanks for joining us.
My name is Steve Pearlstein. I'm a business and economics columnist of the Washington Post. There's probably been no time in recent memory where leadership is more at a premium, what with a new administration starting in Washington and the global economy in crisis. WashingtonPost.com is launching a new website devoted strictly to the issue of leadership. I hope you'll join me and a panel of distinguished experts in that ongoing conversation, right here at WashingtonPost.com.